What if I told you there was sort of a Hilda sort of inspired project used as a horror story anthology series that actually could not work because every time you think about or see Hilda's sort of art style, you think of sort of magical, sort of fairy tales, sort of fantasy universe that is unexplored and tapped every time you see Hilda's sort of art style. And you have to say, no, you're wrong. Because you can and you will if you know what you're doing. Because at the very end, it's not the how you borrow the art style, it's how you well executed the sort of genre you want to go in using the Hilda art style. And that project called Don't Walk Alone After Dark. Of course, before I get started, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation. And today we'll talk about that specific project. Now, this project has been worked on a couple of years ago. In fact, to be in this space under 2 years, they dropped about 2 episodes of this recording. The last episode they dropped on October. In fact, I wanted to talk about on October, but I didn't have time. I have some things to do until right now. I actually could talk about it, but besides that, what do I think about it? Do I recommend it? I have to say on the top about it, yes, I recommend it. In fact, the less you know, the better. If you want to see this project is on YouTube, but they have to warn you, the first episode is sort of slow. They really didn't know how to start it because it really is obvious. The first episode called Pinecone Creepers, that has so much potential, but how they started the first anthology episode, they sort of forgot how you start a good horror story. It's sort of giving you sort of a horror incident, sort of you see a clip of the monster or killing or something horrific to grab your attention if you want a good horror anthology series just to grab you, because sometimes you need something to really spook you, but at the same time that would throw you off. It have a Hilda sort of art style that you think it couldn't work, or you think this is made for family viewing, but no, not really. It really does it really well. At least on the second episode called The Worm, that is more better executed the first one, because the first episode of this anthology series, you follow a narrator just talking around the animation, because the first time episode you see it, you really notice they don't have that much budget to work on. They give it sort of a loop sort of animation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you never seen the old shows of Hanna-Barbera like the Flintstones or the Jetsons. I mean the first one, like Scooby-Doo specifically, because sometimes you don't have the budget. You have to throw them on a loop, a sort of section, just like that walking around, but you just seen the same painting over and over again in the background because they had to save some money. This is what they're doing of this project because they don't have the budget, but they know it's not the budget, it's how well you execute it and understanding your limitations. And that's, I think it works super well of this project because they understood that pretty well, because they relied on the themes and the narrating talking about the episode, how this sets up the first episode about the Pinecone Creeper. That sort of three kids are basically camping outside of town, talking about the Pinecone Creeper, that event, that sort of creature who may take kids or not. They really don't know. That's sort of a rumor one the parents talk about and one the kids is talking about as a narration. But none of the kids actually talk, just hear the narration talking what they're talking about, because once again, live in a budget. But it sort of works because when you see the Pinecone Creeper, you'd be surprised how the atmosphere, how the voice actor narrates, it just grabs you. It's just so interesting and deep. But at the same time, it's a little short. It's like 12 minutes, I think, or 10 minutes of the first episode. But the only problem is, I said at the very beginning, it sort of forgot how to set up a good horror sort of story, especially the first episode, because you want to make sure people to understand what is this. That's what it came up with the second episode. The first one fails. They give it that sort of kill or that sort of horror event what happened to his character attacked about this creature. That's why sort of people complain of the first episode. A lot of people praise it, but also commentated it wasn't perfect. It lacked something at the very beginning, or you needed more time. So the second episode, they called the worm, did that. The first episode, you thought this little called they call her the Raven, this young teen who heard a noise in her own uh house, and she trying to locate that noise till he got attacked about this worm, and she became sort of traumatized, and she didn't say anything. Possibly how the narrator or the good doctor who helping this teenager understanding what actually happened is she is the four one of the four teenagers who got attacked or did something horrific on that day, and she is the only survivor who actually lived. But she has a sort of trauma that she can't really speak. And that's what the whole episode is about of the second episode. The first episode is about the creeper, what it is, and how strong and powerful that thing really is, and what happened to all the teenagers who are attempted to escape and disappeared. And the second one is about the worm. But I have to say, the worm is more stronger than the creeper because it really had more time to set up and give you more invested. In fact, the second episode is so strong. I have to admit, I'm surprised and did not decide to make his own spin-off series. How interesting the idea really is, because the first one is all about the doctor understanding the teenager, what happened to her, why she can't speak, or she doesn't want to speak because about the worm. Because this worm is sort of like a demon who eats your anxieties, your dreams, your everything. That she's afraid if she talks, this worm will attach to someone else, and she sort of self-sacrificing in a way. But the doctor wants to know more, understand what is this, and this sort of becomes more interesting because how the doctor narrates the situation, you get more invested in. Just remember, this second episode is a little bit longer, 2 minutes more longer than the first one. I think the first one is like 10 or 12 minutes. The second episode is 15 minutes, but done so much well that I'm wondering why not make this spin-off series? It's just so well attended. It feels like a pitch for a animated movie or animated series about the worm. And that second episode convinced me to describe this channel because it's just so interesting that I hope they keep pitching more interesting ethology series like the second one. The first one was great. The creeper was interesting, but I feel it's shortcut because you get to see the monster, but the thrill, the beast, I wish you had more time with the pinecone creature to see how scary and dominant, because you know there are more than one, but you never see how threatening it really is. And I think that's one of the biggest problems of the first episode. You see the potential of it. You see you could do so much more. But I guess because it's the first episode, you don't know what is the budget, because obviously you see the first budget, they're using a lot of loop animation, just recycling the safe movements. Just see someone a tear falling out of their eyes or in their own glass or seeing the fire because they have limited animation. But because of that, they gave that sort of kind of authority feeling, something like a dread, something's coming, like this feels something froze in time, that you just understand their emotions so well thanks to the animation, because the animation does so well as the Hannah story, but they use it not like a crush or a reference. You use it as sort of like a strength. That sort of moment that you record it in your memory. I think that's the best way to describe it. All these two episodes feels like moments of people's life frozen in time. They can't get out of it or can't stop thinking about it because how traumatized they really are. Because the first episode is about one of the kids remembering that day when the friends disappeared because of Pinecone Creeper that was sort of told around the city, I mean in the town, about their own parents about the creeper. They were reminding them what happened back in the day. And the second episode feels all about the doctor remembering helping that patient that he had to sacrifice so much to help her, that looping in the head, not feel being punished, remembering that moment. And once more, you see how well it's done. Even the second one is so much better than the first. I still recommend watch both of them. In fact, you've seen this authority project in YouTube. If you heard about it, you talking about it, you hear someone talk about this. If you did see it, how you felt about this project? You like it? You hate it? If you enjoy it, tell me down below. Let me know because I really enjoyed it, and I am so hyped for the next episode, whenever it come out. Because this type of projects takes so long to do, especially your indie, because sometimes it takes over a year to do another episode, or sometimes it takes shorter, depends what kind of art stuff they actually use. But yet, the limited animation, the limited of the money funds they have, they make it work. They really feel invested because you feel they have something here to actually talk about. Especially the little shorts they do, the little authority shorts and the YouTube clips. They have like two of them. One about the girl brushing her teeth, the thumb come out in the mirror. It's another one also, but just if you want to see more. But besides that, I really recommend it. If you're a horror enthusiast and you like horror, but you want more of it or more animation horror, I recommend it. This will work for you. At least the second episode. The first episode gets kind of falling their feet a little bit. It's kind of come out short, in other words. But yet, it's one of those that just feels you have so much potential more to make more of it. This is the reason why I subscribe that specific channel. This is the reason why I recommend it to watch it. It has so much potential. Now, I really got nothing else to say. Just one question: how you feel or seen or heard about this project? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.